what's going on in my life. What he has done for myself, my sisters, our entire family, and an entire industry is freaking remarkable. When we first started Secure, he said he wanted to pay top street level commissions. And I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, I know a lot of people. They're not doing that. He's like, trust me, it will pay off long term. And I can confidently say, trust me, it is paid off long term. I can tell you, when this dude says something, it's the truth. There is no one more honest, more ethical, with more integrity than my father. And so it makes perfect sense for him to finish up and close us out and finish us up strong. Please give a rounding, standing ovation with a ton of energy as we finish it up.
Okay. Now is it on? Okay. I didn't know there was two buttons, so. Okay. So first of all, I want to thank our team for doing such an amazing job at this event. I'm very, very proud of them. If you're on the SIG staff, just real quick, just stand up real fast. Y'all did an amazing job. Thank you very, very much. Y'all did just an amazing job. And so I'm going to walk through several things, and I want to tell you just a little bit about myself first, just to kind of give you a real quick glimpse of who I am. I was born and raised in Arkansas, and my dad died when I was 5 years of age. My mom was a single mom for several years, and when my dad passed away, he had no life insurance, and back then funerals were very, very inexpensive, but it's still back then, you know, there was still a lot of money. Based on what you had. So I got a work ethic from my mom that, because I saw her working 3 jobs constantly all the time. And to where she would go to work and at a factory, and then she would go to a convenience store, and then she had a night job also. So we didn't see her a whole lot during several years just because she was trying to make ends meet. And that's what you do when you're just trying to make ends meet. So just kind of fast forward real quick. In 1986, I met my wife, Patty, which is absolutely the best thing that's ever happened to me. So, I met her in December of 1986. We got married in September of 89. And then in April of 1990 is when I went to work for Reliable Life Insurance Company. It was a small debit company. They're headquartered out of St. Louis, Missouri. And so I ran and I collected a debit door to door and did that for 7 years. Door to door, and collected over 450 homes each and every month. So door to door. So we would go and we would take I had a green bank bag, and we would collect cash, and on the wall of every person, they would have a little thing you would sign and put back on their wall. And you know, they become friends and family. It was unbelievable, and I could tell you all day long about that. In July of 1990, Cody was born. And then June of 1991, Kayla was born. November of 1995, Katie was born. And then March of 97, Casey was born. And I don't know if Casey's the only one that's not married. So if you've got a great young man that you know, a tremendously great young man, Casey is single and ready to mingle. And 4 or 5 years ago, I wouldn't have said that, but now she's 20, what is she, 24, I think? 24, so it's time. So if you have a great young man, let us know, send us pictures, and we'll do a background check and all that kind of stuff. So we'll vet them out. But in April of 1997, I went to work for Mutual Omaha, and I was an agent for them for a little while. Then I became a district sales manager for a couple of years. And then in August of 2000, I became a general manager and remained the general manager there until February of 2014. In June of 2012, Kaylee and Ty were married. September 2013, Cody and Lauren were married. And then in February of 2014 is when I started Secure Insurance Group. And then in May of 2017, Matt and Katie were married. Hopefully I didn't leave anything out about the family. But just want to kind of give you a quick glimpse of just the family there. Now, here's one thing that y'all have heard a lot of people talk about this already. I really, really want to kind of emphasize this part right here. You must have a vision. Absolutely must have a vision. If you don't have a vision of where you're going, you'll drift around and never accomplish much of anything. You have to have a vision. And I'm telling you, a vision is the most important thing that you've got to have. And it must be your vision. It can't be someone else's vision. Years ago, for years and years, I always thought I could make anybody successful. Sean was my assistant general manager for many, many years at Mutual. Sean, how many people, do we always think we can make anybody successful as long as they were breathing and they would listen, right? Unfortunately. We thought that. But we figured out quickly we could. That just didn't. That wasn't it wasn't true. We couldn't do it. It has to be their vision. So Sean and I had a kind of a little rule. When their career became more important to us than it was to them, the horse was dead. It was time to dismount. And so, what's your vision? Do you know where you're going? And I'm being serious with that question. What is your vision? Do you know where you're going? And when you have a vision, you have a purpose. And the reason I work so hard. And I work hard, and that's just me. I love it. I love the industry. I love what I do. I love having Secure Insurance Group. I love the whole thing. And it's because I have a vision. I know where I'm going. I know what I want to accomplish. And that's the reason I do the things I do. So now here's, as you as a rep here, let me just kind of point out a couple of things, Steve. Vision becomes a reality. Your vision can become a reality. For example, your vision becomes more of a reality with every phone call you make. Every appointment you run, with every marketing program you implement, with every coaching, mentoring session you do, every event that you attend that makes you better, every new rep that you recruit that joins your team, and every quality individual you surround yourself with. And you're never going to be overly successful by yourself. You will have to surround yourself with other people, other successful people. Believe me, and I'm going to talk more about that here in a second. My career vision was when I was with Reliable Life, and I've always kind of wondered where Cody gets some of his stuff. Now, you always heard what you do, your children do in excess. Yep. Anybody ever heard that? Yes. What you do, your children do. Well, it was, you could take me, and then Cody is double me. Okay? So he's taken everything I've done kind of to the next level. And so I'll kind of give you a couple of examples. In 1990, I started with Reliable Life, and I wasn't there a full year. So my first full year was 1991. And I made the announcement to everybody I would be Rookie of the Year of the entire company. Okay? I made that announcement. And the announcement was made, so I had to back it up. I absolutely had to back it up, which I did accomplish in 1991. But I'm going to tell you how I accomplished it real quick. I'm going to tell you the story. So on the last day, on December 31st, okay, I lived in a little city of Wynne, Arkansas. The last day on December 31st, I had one case I had to deliver in order for me to overtake the guy that was ahead of me at the time. I only had one case left to deliver. It was the last case I had left to deliver. Well, I called the wife, and I said, I need to see your husband. I've got to get his signature on this policy. And she said, he's already gone to work. And I said, where's he work at? She said, on the river in Memphis. This, I swear to God in my life, it's a true story. So anyway, I said, has the boat taken off yet? And she says, I have no clue. She said, I couldn't tell you. And I said, well, where's it at? And she tells me exactly where it's at. So I get in my car and I drive an hour to Memphis, okay? So I call Reliable on the way there, and I'm like, look, I'm about to go to a guy that's on the river right now, and I said, I'm not licensed in Tennessee. I'm only licensed in Arkansas. I said, can I do this? And the underwriter says, as far as I know, water, you could be on the Arkansas side, I don't care. Basically said that he didn't really care. So anyway, so I go there, and I'm talking to a guy, and I'm like, okay, where's this guy? He said, he's on the party barge out there in the middle of, out there on the other side. I said, how do I get there? He's like, swim, I guess. I don't know how you're going to get there. And he said, well, there's another boat leaving here in about a half hour. And he said, but you got to talk this guy into giving you a ride. And I'm like, okay. So where's he at? So I go over there, and I convince this guy to let me drive across with him. I get on this boat. I drive across the river with this guy on this boat. I get to the other side. I find this guy after I leave this boat. We connected boats. Got the other guy. Got his signature. And I'm like, how do I get back? And they're like, well, it's going to be another 45 minutes, or they got to unload some stuff and whatever. And so I waited. So I get back. So then I had to drive from Memphis to Jonesboro to deliver this to get it faxed in, which I did. And that was how I won Rookie of the Year in 1991. So sometimes in life, you just have to do something that's just go above and beyond to make it happen. Because if I would have done that, I would still have regrets today if I would not have done that. I would still have regrets today. When I was at Mutual Omaha, my vision was to be the GM of the #1 agency in the entire company, which we accomplished. And I put the word we in parentheses for a reason. If you're with me at Mutual Omaha, raise your, or stand up if you would. Stand up for a second. These guys right here, they're the reason that we were #1. I can promise you. These guys right here. When I took over the agency in August of 2000, our agency was ranked 47th in the company. Okay, and there was only 50 agencies, so we weren't too far. We weren't last, but we were a lot closer to last than we were first. And so, over a 10-year period, from that time period, we just gradually. And then I brought in Sean as my assistant general manager. I had Mike and Ron and Josh and all the others that stood up. And these individuals were top producers every single year. And then in 2010, we became the #1 agency in the entire mutual oil companies. Out of Springfield, Missouri, competing against New York, LA, Texas, all the big cities, Florida. We were the #1 agency in the entire company. We set all-time production records in company history, which I don't know if those still stand or not, but they stood when we left. And they definitely stand now. But I'm telling you this because I couldn't have done that on my own. I had amazing, amazing people. These guys that just stood up are some of the greatest guys in the entire world to me. They've helped me accomplish and reach things that I could have never done without them. Another vision of mine at Mutual Omaha was to never miss a President's Circle qualification. And we made 14 consecutive President's Circle qualifications for 2000 2013. I'm telling you this not to brag. I'm telling you this because I'm letting you know things are possible. What you want, what you set your mind to is possible. I made an announcement, and Sean can vouch for it. Sean, Mike and all those can vouch for it. Josh, was there ever a chance that we were missing a President's Circle? Not a chance. I didn't care what we had to do, how we had to do it. We were not missing one. We're the only agency in company history to never miss one. In company history. And we're talking about Mutual of Omaha, a large company. No other GM had ever done that. No other agency ever done that. We did that. And but the thing about it is I made the announcement. I had to do it then. I didn't have a choice then. I had to do it. So when I started at Secure in February of 2014, anybody that knows me, everybody, Cody and everyone else and Ty and all the people that were part of this when we started. And Sean's the one that came to me and said, you talked about comp, paying too high, right? You thought I was crazy. Cody thought I was crazy. Everybody thought I was crazy, paying too much comp because they knew that how much it took to run an agency. But I had one vision in mind, and I still got that same vision today. It hasn't changed. The vision has not changed whatsoever. and that is to build the best opportunity possible for independent agents. That vision hasn't changed, and that vision is my goal to continue to get better and better at. Let me talk about my family vision real fast. If you get to know me much at all, you're going to realize quickly my family is absolutely the most important thing in my life, and it's not even close. My family is the most important. My vision is to be the best husband, father, father-in-law, and poppy, because that's what my grandkids call me, poppy, that I possibly can be. That's what I work on that all the time. That is my goal. My family goals with my wife, my children, my in-laws, and grandchildren are to never, ever take them for granted. It's so easy for us to take people for granted. It's so easy for us to take our spouses for granted. It's so easy to take our children for granted. It's so easy to take our in-laws for granted. It's so easy to take our grandchildren for granted. We just take people for granted. And that's something we can't do. You cannot take people that you love for granted. Because I'm telling you, they may not be there tomorrow. I've got a sister a few years back that was killed by a drunk driver. You don't know what tomorrow holds. Don't take those individuals for granted. Always make sure they know how much you love them. And that's one of the things I do. Kaylee, how often do we hang up the phone? I have not told you I love you. Never. Never. Cody and I, every time we walk past each other and we leave each other, I don't care if he's with somebody, I'm with somebody, we're in person, we're on the phone. Do we ever leave the conversation without saying I love you? It never happens. Always make sure they know how proud you are of them. There's so many parents that simply don't tell their children how proud they are of them. And I think that's one of the biggest crimes, the biggest mistakes that people can make is you not telling your children how proud you are of them. Every time I see my grandchildren, what's the first thing I tell them all the time? How proud of them. Every time I leave, Katie, what did I tell you the other day about you and Matt when we ate at the Italian restaurant, or when we left the Italian restaurant, how proud of you and the family that you've built. You've got to tell them. You've got to tell them. I'm telling you, just don't take those things for granted. I'm going to talk about obstacles just for a second here. You and your family will have obstacles. There's no question about it. We've had obstacles. As you all know, life isn't always fair. We wish it was fair. Individuals you called friends and trusted, they could turn on you. I've had it happen. The guys at Mutual know that for a fact. I've had it happen. But as a parent, you set the example of how you handle obstacles. There's going to be extremely tough situations occur, but regardless of what occurs, you've always got to make the best of the situation. You have to. And just to kind of, when I was 9 years of age, I was diagnosed with a hip disease called leg paralysis in my hip. I spent 2 years in the Shriners Hospital for crippled children in St. Louis, and the doctors told me I'd never walk again without some type of support, a brace, crutches, some type of support in some way. And that was in 1978. And I could have not fought it and not tried and all that, but it just wasn't in my nature. Just wasn't in my nature. And then, my wife was diagnosed with cancer back in 2013, I believe it was, if I remember right. 2013 to 2015, she took chemo for 2 years. Well, you still got to make the best of the situation. It was bad. It was, it just, hurt us really bad, but we still had to make the best situation. When Cody was about 2 years of age, 2.5 or so, we found out he was blind in his left eye. Cody's blind, and most of y'all don't even know that, but Cody's blind in his left eye. He can't see a thing out of his left eye. Totally blind. Can't see a thing. But it didn't stop him. He played 4 years of college basketball. He played, I coached him he played football and basketball and baseball. I coached him in baseball for 13 years. Maybe the last time he drives the car, huh? Maybe the last time. My daughter, Katie, was diagnosed with the same hip disorder that I was diagnosed with, and she's got a scar down her leg from her hip all the way down to basically her knee on the side, to where they had to go in and basically break her femur bone, put some bolts and screws and whatever else they did, rods and et cetera, inside her leg, and didn't know if she, they were real concerned whether she'd be able to have children or not, just because of we can't open our, we can't sit Indian style. I'll put it that way. We don't have much flexibility in our leg and so forth. But it's just, you're going to have obstacles. But you must let your kids know the obstacles won't define you. And, it's an opportunity to show your kids you'll never quit. I don't care what it is, you never quit. And you'll always come out strong on the other end. People are watching your every move, especially your loved ones. How you handle situations makes an impact on those around you. And I won't get into it tonight. But, when I left Mutual, it was a bad situation and it kind of happened really quickly. And it was a situation to where I could have just kind of sulked and whined and tried to go get on unemployment and, whatever else. I could have done all those things. But I knew my children were watching. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. So, my departure from Mutual was on Monday, February the 3rd. And by Tuesday, February the 4th, we already had started to basically got everything in motion to start Secure Insurance Group 24 hours later. And it was no heads up notice. It was a quick little deal, and I'll tell that story some other day. But here's something that I heard somebody say one time, and I've always remembered this. Anyone can smile when things are great. It's easy. But if you want to change your world, smile when you're hurting. That's the difference there. Have no regrets. Go at whatever you do, go at as hard as you possibly can and let the chips fall where they may. If you want to do everything you possibly can, you have absolutely no regrets. And I want to live life with no regrets. When I do something, I like to go big. I like to do it and build something. I like to win. I like to win. And but don't be afraid to try something new. I heard a person say, "Well, what if it doesn't work? What if it does?
Yes, that's right.
What if I don't win? What if you do? Try something new. Don't be afraid to try something new, and get out of your comfort zone." One thing that I've always done, and a lot of people in this room, a lot of you in this room are much, much, much more talented than I am. There's no question about that, and I truly, truly mean that. A lot of you in this room are much more talented than I am. I don't care what your talent level is. If you seek greatness on a daily basis, you can't fail. I can't imagine that you can. If you don't, you'll look back and wonder, could I have been greater? Could I have done more? What would have happened if I'd have done this or if I'd have done that? So many times people look back at their life and wonder, what if? What if? Get the coaching, the mentoring, and the training needed to be great. Do whatever it takes to be great. Whatever it is. Find something that you can be great at and do it. This room is full of talented individuals, like I just mentioned, that will help you. So if you're an individual that needs help, this room is full of people that will help you. Surround yourself with winners. Get away from negativity. I saw Hunter Powell and Tim, talking, and what I did when I walked up to you, I put my arm around both of you. What did I say? Winners hang out with winners. Winners hang out with winners. Larry Bird once said, "A winner is someone who recognizes God-given talents, works his tail off to develop them into skills, and uses these skills to accomplish his goals." Was Larry Bird the most talented basketball player ever to play the game? I'm not sure if he could even dunk. Yeah. Yeah. Was he the fastest guy on the court? But he mastered his skills. He found out what he was good at, and he mastered those skills. Don't be afraid to take risk. There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life less than the one you're capable of living. there's no reason to go small. I'm sure people have told you, make sure you always have a backup, a fallback, something to fall back on. Anybody ever heard that? Make sure you have something to fall back on. It's absolutely horrible advice. When I started Secure, and I spent a lot of money to start Secure, I didn't have anything to fall back on. I had nothing to fall back on. If Secure didn't work, I just threw away several hundred thousands of dollars in the trash. If it didn't work, I just threw away a lot of money. So what did I do there? I bet on myself. How many of you bet on yourself? How many of you are still playing small ball just because you're afraid to take those risks? You're afraid to do something bigger. You know you're capable of it. You know you are, but you just don't want, you're kind of in your comfort zone. You don't want to take those risks. When you surround yourself with the right people, your risk lowers drastically. You know, we started Secure with myself and 4 individuals, but those 4 individuals weren't just 4 normal individuals. They weren't just 4, just average people. They were 4 great individuals, 4 tremendously great individuals. So my risk was already lower because of the 4 individuals I started with. When someone succeeds, one of the major reasons is the quality of individuals they surround themselves with. I'm begging you, pleading you, surround yourself with quality people. If you get the quality people in front of you, around you, you will not and you cannot fail. You've got to surround yourself with quality people. You surround yourself with negative individuals, you allow people negative stay in your office, and you don't have the culture you're looking for, yeah, they'll destroy you all day long. And you'll never, ever make anything great. But you surround yourself with the right people, all of a sudden you become a winner. And because you've got to have those people around you. Give your best. And this is something that I would encourage you to do on a daily basis. Absolutely give your best. We build our lives one day at a time, often giving less than our best. Then with a shock, we realize we must live in the house we have built. Think about that for a second. We build our lives one day at a time, often giving less than our best. Then with a shock, we realize we must live in the house we have built. We're going to live in the house we build. Why not build the house that you dream of, that you want? Build that house. Don't live life with regrets. If you give your best each and every day, what's your chance of success if you absolutely give your best every single day? Every single day. Life is a do-it-yourself project. Your attitude and the choices you make today build the house you'll live in tomorrow. Think about that. Life is a do-it-yourself project. Your attitude and the choices you make today build the house you'll live in tomorrow. When I retire, I don't want to have to say, I wish I'd have done more. When I retire, I hope I'm going to be able to say, I'm not sure if there's anything else more I could have done. That's what I want to be able to say. I don't want to say, I wish I'd have done more. I don't want that. And the reason is, which is the reason, the reason I do those things, the reason I don't want to have to say that, is the reason I work so hard. It's the reason I focus on my marriage. It's the reason I focus on the relationship with my children, my in-laws, and my grandchildren. I don't have to look back and say, I wish I'd have done more. So, and you don't have to. Now, has anybody here ever failed at anything whatsoever? You're going to fail at some point in your life. You know, we all can accept it. We're going to lose at some point in our life at something. We are. Every person's room has a talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail? And this is something that, I can kind of say about Cody here. If you never fail, you simply aren't taking enough risk. You're playing it way too safe. Nate, you ever failed before? If you've never failed, you just simply haven't taken enough risk. To get something you never had, you have to do something you've never did. And when I started Secure, I failed many times. We tried all kinds of stuff. I mean, everything. these guys that were with us can tell you, we tried a lot of stuff to try to figure out to make this thing. I mean, we spent a lot of money and made a lot of mistakes, and we failed many times, but we didn't stop. Failure was not an option. Ultimate failure was not. Just like Rocky got up, we got up. So, successful people. I read something on Sylvester, because Sylvester Stallone was our kind of little cutout here, and we played the Rocky theme and so forth. Sylvester Stallone wanted to be an actor, so he went and tried out more than 1,500 times. 1,500. You can read it online. More than 1,500 times, consecutively 1,500 times, he was told, "No, we don't want you." 1,500. I'm not talking about 1 or 5 or 15 or 150. 1,500 times he was told no. So then he thought, I'm gonna write a movie. I'm gonna try it. So he said, I'm gonna write my own movie. So he writes the movie Rocky. He was offered $325,000 for the script. Okay, $325,000, but with the condition that he would not act in the film. So, what do you think he did? He said no. Why did he say no? Because he had a dream. He had a passion. He knew what he wanted. He settled. Finally, somebody gave him $35,000 with him as the actor. So we went from $325,000 down to $35,000. So he lost $290,000. Now, how many of us would have done that? Anybody? $35,000, him as the actor, and Rocky grossed over $200 million in the box office. Because when he made his deal, he made a deal of a percentage of all revenue. So which way did he come out ahead? He failed 1,500 times. Every successful person has failed. Every successful person failed. They just didn't give up. And I'm a huge Larry Bird fan. And Larry Bird says, I've got a theory that if you give 100% all the time, somehow things will work out in the end. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a really silly question. If you gave 100% every single day, 100% every single day, 100% every single day, would it make an impact on your business?
Yes, of course.
Dallas, you've worked with me for a lot of years. How many days have you came in that I'm not giving 100%? When I get there, I've got to go. I mean, it's go time. When I walk in that door, it's go time. So, one thing I want to kind of talk about just for a real split second, and I won't read all these other things. I'm basically pretty much wrapping up here, but I want to say just a couple of things. When I started Secure, I told you earlier, I had one goal in mind, and that's to have the best opportunity for an independent agent in the entire industry. Some of you are already with Secure, which I appreciate greatly. For those who are not with Secure, we would love the opportunity to talk with you, and would love the opportunity to partner with you. And I say partner because it's a partnership, and that's what it is. It's a partnership, and both parties have to bring something to the table. And there's lots of things here, and I won't read them all, but one thing I do want to read here is things to consider when you're choosing a partner. Do they have the culture you want to be a part of? That you really want to consider that. And then I'll just read one more. Are the leaders people you believe in? Are they honest, ethical, and do they have integrity? Because those are the people that you really, really want to partner with. Last thing real quick in closing, I just want to let you know how much I appreciate all of you. I'm tickled to death that you came to our event. I hope you got a lot out of it. Hope you got your money's worth. So but we do want to thank you for all your partnerships. And I hope that you got something great out of this. I hope you go back and you're able to make an impact on your career. Make an impact not only on your career, but the careers of others around you. I'm hoping that you're able to go back and make an impact on your staff. I'm hoping you're able to go make an impact. And this last slide says, we want to partner with you. Hope you're able to make an impact on your family. You know, I heard and I don't know if he's in here, Tyler. Tell me what you told me at break, or we had a real quick break. If you're okay with telling it.
Yeah, absolutely. So after we got listening to
Dan.
Dan here speak, I was having one of those inflation problems, so I had to go release a little pressure, and I went upstairs to my room, and I had to call my wife and let her know just how much I love her and I appreciate her.
I hope you got some nuggets out of this event. I really, really do. I hope you know that. I hope you see how much Secure Insurance Group really wants to partner with you and cares about you. And we're not looking just to make the overrides on you. We're looking to partner with people, you know, of like mind. And but last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to bring up Dallas here. If there's anything at all that we can ever do for you, if it's possible, we'll do it. I appreciate what you do, and I thank you very much for coming. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.